Everyone, my name is Jackson Quincy Nahayo. I'm a former child refugee from Burundi. I really apologize for not attending the dinner tonight due to circumstances that were out of my control. I showed up 3.5 hours at the airport and before the flight, and things still didn't work out for me. So I apologize for not being there. So please, as you enjoy the dinner without me, allow me to share a little bit about what I was going to share with you tonight. I want to talk about Ubuntu. So before I get into that, maybe if I could share about myself, and that will lead me into what Ubuntu is to us. So, like I said, my name is Jackson. I was a former child refugee to Canada. But before getting to Canada, I went through a lot of upheavals, a lot of challenges. So it all started, by the way, Burundi has had a lot of civil wars going back into the 60s. Now I am a product of the 80s, and so some of the challenges that I started to see, I was only 6 years old in the war that took place in 1993. So when this war started, my sister and I were at school, an older sister of mine, and so war started in the village where I lived, and it also was happening all over the country. Um, this is the first time I could experience so many people dying in huge numbers, and I was only little. It was so overwhelming and very, very sad to see. So as bombs were landing into the classrooms, we were trying to hide under the desks, and walls were falling over, and eventually we had no place to hide but to run. And so, as little, as young as we were, we couldn't run so much before we were held captive. So we were taken in to become child soldiers. 6 months later, I was trying to speak out for my sister and for other people that were being used as child soldiers, and the soldiers were very tired of me and actually asked me to take to shoot my sister, which I said no to, and unfortunately that got me in a huge trouble. So I was beaten and was left to die. Um, there is more details to that. I have a book, a story written about my life. I can't speak to all of it, but to read my book. I think Sarah and the team are gonna make it available for people to read. So from there, I woke up, I gained conscious about 6 hours later, and everybody had left me in the jungle. I found my way into the Congo, well, by the river, and I found other people that were crossing the river Rusizi into the Congo, and that's how my journey as a child refugee began. So. Um, as you already know, Congo has had its own challenges, even including now, and I'll come to that later. So, in '94, a war started in Congo, and we went through different countries. I was just following people around different countries, including Tanzania, Malawi, Mozambique, and then ended up in Zambia, where I met my Canadian adopted parents. So they took me in. I started primary school there, and eventually we moved to Winnipeg, Canada, where I studied, finished my high school, went into healthcare, and eventually made a decision to go back to Burundi. But I just didn't make a decision to go back to Burundi with all the wounds that I had in my heart, and the the sadness of what had happened to me. But in 2005, I learned that my sister actually did survive, and also uh, biological family was still alive. So I made an attempt to come and visit to see if there was, if for sure they were, my family was still alive. So I came back in 2005, and I was very happy to meet my family again. I was very happy to be in Burundi, and the wound that I had in my heart started healing. But at that same time, with all the happiness and excitement about meeting my family, I met I met a community, or I came into a community that was really suffering. No running water, no hospital, no education, no nothing. It was just a struggle, total struggle in the community. And this is where Ubuntu began for me. I started to think about how can I make myself necessary to this community. As you see on my t-shirts, there's two pictures of innocent children, and I see that as me as a kid and my sister trying to invest into one another, trying to look out for each other. And so I took on that concept. How can I make myself necessary to the community? And so, with all the struggles, all the atrocities that had happened to Burundi, I went back to Canada with a challenging question: where will I start? And so I decided to equip myself with the necessary education, and also inviting people, just as I'm speaking to you all, inviting people and challenging people to be curious about what's happening around the world, about investing into the issues of the world, looking out for one another. And that's really Ubuntu for us. So Ubuntu to me has been, how can we make ourselves necessary to others? How can others be better off because of our existence? And how could we be better off because other people exist? So really, in other words, it's just acts of kindness. So from that point, I decided that I'm going to try and do as much kind stuff as I can towards other humans and other creation. So I came to Burundi, to settle in Burundi in 2013, and we started by building a hospital. Well, it was uh, sort of like a health center, which is grown into a blown 100-bed and over hospital since then. So there was acts of Ubuntu all over the world. There was an organization in Canada that said, okay, we understand what you want to do. We would like to donate used medical equipment. So there are other people who said, we could come to volunteer in Burundi to see if your community can be better off. And so it it felt so good that I wasn't carrying the weight of of all these challenges by my other community out in Canada that was willing to work with me. That was Ubuntu also being practiced in Canada. So the hospital started, and we were taking in people that either have chronic diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, even people with depression due to some of the aftermath of the war. And then malaria, of course, is everywhere, and it kills a lot of people. So as we started, we felt like just a little drop in the sea, but over time, the difference is really visible. The positive changes that we are making. So we started with healthcare, but we also realized that people do need food to eat. People do need clean water to drink. So I took another what I call a second pillar to what we do. Um, being farming and agriculture. So we started working with the community, working with the land, producing food to eat. By the way, Burundi, it's got the best climate for agriculture, best soil, and has had good rainfall. So we started farming, and that helped actually with I guess boosting people's immune systems. So the sicknesses kind of reduced, and it became a very good approach, a preventative measure to treat other than just consistently using drugs. So we've been growing different crops such as corn, soybeans, all sorts of vegetables like tomatoes, what you name it, fruits, mangoes, pineapples, avocados. And so we do it all in the spirit of Ubuntu, working together, looking out for each other, investing into one another, uplifting each other. Then on top of that, I thought, okay, um, how long will I be doing this? As a leader or as a visionary, I would like to have this Ubuntu spirit be passed on or live forever. So we thought the best way to do that is to train other leaders, and this is where the third pillar of Ubuntu came in, being education. And we're doing education in different ways. So vocational training, and also we do have a primary, actually it's kindergarten to grade 9, and we hope to have a secondary school. And so in that regards, we're training people skills that can stay with them long after Jackson is not long after Jackson is gone. We're also training future leaders who could carry on this Ubuntu spirit. But very important, we also, our leaders or the people that we're training to learn about the atrocities, evils that have happened. But how could we prevent that from happening again? Right now, Congo is going through a lot of challenges. We have over 50,000 refugees from our Ubuntu hospital is turned into some kind of a refugee camp. Our compound, thankfully, we have had a good harvest, so we've got enough food to share with the refugees from the Congo. But with the numbers increasing and coming, how long are we going to have? How much more food are we going to have to be able to feed them? So it's the challenges we're going through. But these challenges won't stop us from doing the best. We are glad that we do have the means, we do have the shelter to provide to these people who just came and prepared and running away for their lives. We are glad that we have the hospital to be able to provide the medical care that they need, because a lot of them already have malaria because they have been sleeping outside and being bitten by mosquitoes. A lot of them have they are dehydrated. We have had some cases of anemia where we had to do blood transfusion to some kids. So we're glad that we have been in this place and we're able to serve to them. And to me, it's the kindness that I received from the Congo when I was a refugee. So I'm glad that I'm able to be able to provide that to them in the spirit of Ubuntu. So really, I was traveling to come to the dinner and also to the conference to be able to share more about what we do, and also to give opportunity to people, invite people to learn more about Burundi, to learn about the issues, the challenges that Africa is going on. To have, my hope, my vision is that we could see the globe as not a giant thing where people can't communicate, but would like to see if the globe or the world can be linked. There can be communication, there can be peace. People can always try to look out to talk about peace and not personal or individual interests, to have a world that is better off for other people to live in, especially that Burundi is a tiny country that seems to be isolated from the world. So my hope is that uh, you could all think about or be curious about what the issues of the world, the issues Burundi is going through, and act according to what you can. Some people have told me, well, I don't know if I could do anything to make a difference. Actually, you can. Um, from being a child refugee, very vulnerable, and thinking that I have no future. Uh, Somehow manage to be in a place where I can make myself necessary to others. And I think you can too. It just takes the first step is to be curious and the willingness, even sending positive energies. It's good enough, like to think, to send, that encouragement, to be curious, to speak out if you can, for world to have peace. Anyways, I wish I could be there for questions and interaction, but I hope this gives you a little bit about my background and what I was going to talk about. I do invite you to read about my story, my book, which is going to be available at the dinner, and get the T-shirt, Ubuntu T-shirt, and Ubuntu Mubantu, so Ubuntu among the people. And yeah, I look forward to connecting with some of you. I'm gonna try to get on my next flight. All right, have a good day, night. It's early morning here. Thank you.